Welcome to Design Technology. So I'm going to give you a brief overview about design technology at Longridge High School. So we offer three areas. We offer textiles, timbers and systems. Okay, and you can choose from one of those three areas. All of those offer you a GCSE in design technology. And the course content is broken down into 50% of the course is controlled assessment, what we call non-examined assessment, NEA. That's kind of like 20 sheets of A4 paper, models and made product. Then we do lots of practical work throughout your time with us to learn from that. And then 50% of the course is exam-based. Okay, so 50% is the NEA coursework that we do in school and 50% is exam-based. So the areas that we cover in all of our work is metals, papers and boards, polymers, systems, fibres and textiles, as well as timbers. Why would you take design technology? Well, we do practical work over a period of time, as I've said. 50% of our course is that. Most of our GCSE is that. We try and learn via practical means. Unlike other subjects where you're sat at a desk, we kind of get you up, active, working in our areas on tools, equipment and processes and manufacturing products. You can develop your skills on lots of our equipment, CAD, computer-aided design and manufacture, so we're using 3D printers, laser cutters, etc. In this GCSE, you get transferable practical and theoretical skills, so learning for life, the real world, industry and manufacturing. Can you study it at college? Most definitely, yes. Can you go on and do A-levels, BTECs, other qualifications? Can you study it further at university? Absolutely. Will it lead to pathways in apprenticeships? Yes. Okay, there's lots and lots of avenues that you could go down with this GCSE in design technology. What jobs? Well, each area is going to talk about different jobs for you. However, there's loads. Yeah, you can go into all kinds of industries with design technology. As I've said, in design technology, we offer three areas: textiles, timbers and systems. So we're going to talk about those individually now. I'm going to hand over to Miss Socia, Mr. Price, and I'll be back shortly.
Textiles is practical and theory-based learning in a positive and creative environment, giving you real-world skills that you'll use throughout your life long after you've left us here at Longridge High School. Our project-based learning with real-world links include skills-based project will give you a range of skills that you can use in later life. So something as simple as threading a needle, sewing on a button, or even more technical skills like using the specialist machinery we've got, like sewing machines and overlockers. We also do garment construction projects. So you can see just behind me the two mannequins are some of our current NEA GCSE students. And we'll go through and we'll teach you how to make garments. That could be a range of garments. So in your beginning projects, it might be something like we've got a pair of shorts, or we've got a little skirt. Now these aren't just basic garments, they are quite technical. They've got things like zips and pockets, the same as you would expect to find in a shop when you were to buy a garment. We also do decorative projects as well, so you'll learn the decorative side of textiles, so things like tie-dyeing, batik dyeing, hand and machine embroidery, and really creative projects with that. We also offer an e-textiles based project, which is at the forefront of the textiles industry at the moment, where we utilise things and use things like the CAD industry, so that's what Mr. Scott talked about just earlier, computer-aided design, where you might make a design on the computer that you could use to transform into a laser cutter, and you might do things like put patterns onto fabrics. We can also use a 3D printer as well, which you may have seen over in Mr. Price's room, to complete things like components, so things like buttons or pullers for your little zips, giving your products a very unique and individual current theme. You then got your final project that I just mentioned before, your NEA, so that's where you would be given a live brief from the exam board and you would very much be in control of what your project is. So if it's like a dress behind me that you would want to make, or perhaps, well, we've had a vast range in the past. We've had horse coats, dog coats, wall hangings, cushions, all sorts of different products, all made out of textiles. It just really showcases your individualism and creativity. What jobs could you do then? So the fashion and textiles industry employs millions of people worldwide. Jobs include things like a textiles designer, which is kind of the one that springs to everybody's mind, but there's much more than that. You've got trend forecasting, fashion buying, which is one where you'd probably expect to kind of travel the world and meet with lots of buyers in different parts of the world, styling and promotion, production management, interior designer, and then you've also got the media side of things. So you've got your TV and your film industry, as well as journalism. So you could do fashion blogging, or you could have your own columns in a magazine and things like that. So there's lots and lots of job opportunities out there for you. With regards to courses, I know we briefly chatted about courses. You've got your BTEC, so your BTEC Art and Design courses. You've got your A-levels at Textiles. You've got, then that would go on to degree courses. So all the jobs I've just mentioned there are linking relevant degree courses that you can go and study as well. And finally, you've also got your fashion apprenticeships or your textiles linked apprenticeships, where you could learn on the job that you were doing, which would open lots of doors within within those industries as well. I'll now hand over to Mr. Price, who's going to talk to you about systems.
Design technology systems is a subject which gives you the skills and knowledge that you'll need to design and make electronic products. So this includes everything from designing the product itself, the physical appearance of it, right down to the designing and testing the electronic circuit that makes the product actually work. So you'll learn about electronic components, including microprocessors and sensors, and how these things can be used to create smart products which react to their environment. And you'll also learn how to write the code which actually powers those electronic products as well. So the way we learn those different things is usually by actually looking at existing products. So we'll look at a remote control car, for example, and we'll take it apart and we'll look at the different components that are in there to actually make this work. We'll probably strip it right down to the chassis as well, and perhaps look at some of the mechanics involved. So there's a lot of different areas we cover, but the main thing is always the focus on the electronic systems themselves. On top of that, we learn how to make the actual different cases for these products. So this is an example of a small torch that is 3D printed. The circuitry inside is very simple, but the main part of this project is learning how to use a 3D piece of software called Tinkercad, and later on we use Fusion 360 as well. So there's different pieces of software that we use to make 3D models that we can then print. We've got 3 3D printers which we use to create these different products. I did mention code, and the code itself actually gets uploaded to these things here, which are called microprocessors. So we upload the code which makes the product work, and we'll learn how to do that as well through practical application of the knowledge that we learn in the theory lessons that we do. Now, throughout year 10, you'll probably be able to build this skill set in such a way that by the end of year 10, hopefully you'll be able to make your own product. Now, that leads up to year 11, which is where you do your own NEA assessment, which Mr. Scott mentioned earlier on. So the whole idea of the course is that we can design and make our own electronic products that will ultimately lead to skills that you can use in jobs. And some of these jobs are electronics engineering, aerospace, nuclear engineering, computer programming, robotics, artificial intelligence, and many other fields as well. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Scott, who's going to come back and talk to you about timbers.
Timbers. So we'll work with wood, pretty much. That's what we do. That's its name. So we work with manufactured boards as well as natural timbers, hardwoods and softwoods to produce a range of products. We're trying to get you to design things. We're trying to get you to think, okay, and create products. So we work with briefs, live briefs from around the world trying to solve problems. So we start off in our briefs looking at problems, and we've done some designs, and then we move into modelling, some cardboard models, as you can see, basic modelling, and then into more complicated 3D models. And then we move that into products that are more lifelike, yeah? So this is based on an IKEA-based project that all has to be flat packed, and that's the brief. So you're designing a product that would come absolutely apart with limited amount of tools. So that's the challenge that we offer you, okay? As well as many other projects. And then when you come to do your NEA at the end in year 11, that's where you have to solve your own problems and work on your own with all those skills that you've learned from year 7 right up until year 11. So as we've talked about, we all like to offer you lots of challenge and lots of opportunities to be creative. Okay, we get lots of students who come and say they can't draw in design technology. Okay, you can draw. Okay, you might not be the best artist in the school though. That's great. We can work with you, but we also use CAD, as we've mentioned, computer-aided design. But it's not just about being able to draw, it's about being able to explain your ideas. So you might be the best linguist in the school. You can write really well, and that's a great way of showing your creativity and your knowledge. And that's really important and valuable in all our subject areas in design technology. So you've seen all 3 areas that we offer in design technology. They all offer you that GCSE. We just work with different materials areas. So good luck in your choices. Hopefully you'll choose one of our subjects. See you soon.